Okay, hi everyone. You are jumping into the middle of a design meeting about Tabular, which for various reasons we were not live streaming until right now. We were talking about several things, but maybe we should go back to what we were talking about at the beginning, which had to do with select indices problem that we were discussing last time. And we had a great suggestion from Sander on our live stream to use the same mechanism that we've used for nearest and so on, and to give additional properties in select. And I really like this idea.
Sure, then I'll let Rob share again his notebook. Are you ready, Rob, with what you had before?
Rob, can you start share, please? Rob, can you? Rob?
Yes, he's coming.
Okay.
Is it just me, or are all people only seeing a portion of a notebook?
No, I'm seeing the whole notebook.
Nope, see all of it.
Maybe,
okay.
maybe I need to share. Where's the agenda? Is it in
Dropbox? In Dropbox, under Tabular folder.
And I don't need to use, do I need to, no. Oh gosh, guys, you know what? Whatever. Actually, I do not think I have a mechanism to share here. Well, let me see. Maybe I can do something.
Okay, should I go back to sharing then?
No, you should not.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Ah, lovely.
Okay. All right. So last time we were talking about select indices, and the suggestion from Sander was use the same mechanism that we've used for nearest. So let's remind ourselves what we've used for nearest. And I also want to discuss other functions that are similar to these, okay, that are similar to select, where they take, so in the case of nearest, here, I'm going to paste in the, what we have is element index distance. So that's for nearest. Okay. So what other functions are like this? Am I making
Take
sense?
largest.
So by doing it like nearest, does that mean rule goes to pure function? Rule of element?
No, it means, yeah, it means select of list, you know,
yes, list of stuff.
ABC, whatever, hash greater than 0. Well, this is interesting. I mean, is it pure function goes to index, for example? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's what Sander suggested.
I mean, that's certainly the nicer order for a rule from a,
parsing point of view.
Exactly.
Right. Well, I think it's also semantically better.
Yeah,
but
and it's
my
consistent
question is,
with nearest.
Yes, but my question is, what functions are there like select? That could have
take
the
largest
same
has this precedent as well.
I should say that in select and take largest, we put the arrow in the first argument in the data.
I see. But that's not going to work for select, is it? I mean,
I think it does because one doesn't select from rules.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, how can that be an operator form?
Presumably allow it in both places.
No, that's a complete mess.
Yeah, because that's the operator form then.
Yeah.
Okay, what are the other class of functions like select? Okay, what are the other functions that are like that?
Cases?
No, cases
No.
already has a arrow. What about some of the ordering functions and so on? Anything there? Let's
I mean, we build ordering as the index version.
Yeah.
Of sort.
indeed. By the way, just a note, on the select page, the related links thing, somebody went crazy here. There's no reason to have creating websites and apps in the related link from select, and it should be removed. Am I making sense? Do I need to chase that further? Carla, can you deal with that, please?
Yes, yeah, I can do it.
Okay, now select first, for example. Presumably it too has this kind of mechanism.
Coming back to cases, we have discussed other times something that could be called position cases. So you want to find the cases and the positions at the same time.
I see. That's not a terrible idea.
I mean, perhaps there is an extension of position that allows getting indices at the same time.
Well, we
It
get
will be
the
positions
indices
in this case.
position. We get the getting the elements.
The value, sorry, yes, I said it wrong.
Yeah, and likewise, position is the index case of cases.
Right.
Well,
Sort of.
I don't think there's any way to decorate position, because I think that you want the position of anything in any expression. So I don't think that's a decoratable thing. Sander is commenting on our live stream, which I'm finally able to see here. Group by also has a second argument that is a rule specification. And what, let me just look at that one. I see. That's to do with its grouping structure. What else? What would position cases return? An association or what?
Pairs of the case and the position at which it is.
Except if it's called position cases, it's got to return position first and then the thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So position cases of ABC, C would return what? 3, it's got to return yet another level of bracket, right?
Right. So imagine that you have C, B, C. It has to return the list of positions of C and then the C.
I don't know. This seems like a mess. I mean, it seems like a mess to be able to actually use this. Again, I'm coming back to what else is like select.
I mean, not many things are like select. It's a bit
Well,
of an
thanks for asking. The new symbol that we are proposing.
What new symbol?
Scroll down like a very little bit. The names of the opposite of select. This is very much like select.
yeah.
Discard is better than reject.
It's interesting that we've built a bunch of other things like position largest, position smallest, which is basically type index.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
True.
take largest or take smallest is actually the overarching version of sort. because it'll do everything with this rule of syntax.
Okay,
Right.
and the reason we want discard is because we want an operator form. Is that correct?
Yeah, mainly it's gonna
I mean,
have.
because
It's
I mean,
very fast. I
why
mean,
isn't
it's like
not-
why you want
why isn't
delete
it
cases.
select of not?
No, it is. It's exactly that. Select with some. It's select. If you want an operator form, it's select of not composed with the function. So it's select of inside the brackets, not f. Not composed with f.
I see.
So this is
Not.
what discard is.
Well,
And it's the same reason why we have.
I think that's
delete
assuming that
cases.
everything evaluates to true or false.
Yes, true, but select has a true queue implicitly done. So
Right. Yeah, we'd have the same implicit true queue for.
Right. I'm just saying for undefined cases, will it?
yeah.
Yeah.
We need to decide what the undefined case is if you want to discard by default or not discard.
Well, this is not discarding by default.
No,
No.
it's not, and I agree with this proposal.
I think that's the right way to do it. Yeah.
I mean, reject is the antonym of select. But I kind of don't like that. You know, I think discard. Yeah, discard is better because the thing that comes back has a bunch of elements discard. Well, I don't know. I just prefer the word discard.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I think we all, well, I know maybe somebody disagrees, but that's also my initial instinct that
All right. Let's build it. Now, discard. In the case of the index thing, let's say we have discard with an index.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the index of the discarded elements or what?
No, yeah. Now that I'm thinking of it, is not the same as select because what do you want? The property of what remains, I guess.
I think it should be the index. I think it should satisfy that thing I showed above, is that, you know, discard with index, and then you take that part and it should give you what discard does. So it should give the part, the index of the things to keep.
I see. Okay. So let's look at the proposal here.
that's I find that slightly weird.
Okay, so wait a second. This, in the case of nearest, the name that we're using for the actual data is element. Is that right? Yes. Element and index. Yeah, so element is probably better than value.
Yes, I agree.
All right. Let's look at the next case. So so the next case would be to return I mean, I don't see why we shouldn't have both things. The next case would be to return I see, Boolean list, maybe. Yeah, it's a little bit weird because these are singular and they say return that for every element. Right, this is in this case.
Well, except it's not going to
but-
be every element, right?
That's gonna be the
They're
select
different-
elements.
Index is going to be a list of indices, right?
Yes, an element is going to be a list of elements.
Right.
Right,
That's-
but my point is that index and element are going to return length of kept things, and Boolean list or whatever we call it is going to return a list of length
Everything.
of input. presumably.
That's why I included the word bit mask, because it is like a mask. So it's the length of the original thing, but you're masking it with the
So
ones you
maybe
want to
Boolean
keep.
mask is what we want.
Yeah.
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 Well, but they're really different things we want to return. So, I mean, in this case, there's a Boolean mask. There's another possible name, which will be pick mask.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That thought had occurred to me as well, that this is the thing you'd want to then give to pick.
Right. Now, next question for pick. Can pick take and this is something we haven't really talked about a lot with functions. Can pick take a bitmap data structure?
Yes, I did that. I mean, in the prototype build, the answer is yes.
Okay. But I mean, as a
Okay,
general
and-
matter, how much have we looked through the system to see whether data structures can be eaten easily by system functions? And do we want to do
With the
that?
bit vector data structure, I've done a fair amount. With other data structures, no, not so much.
Okay. All right. But I mean, the other thing we might want here, there's a pick mask there, and what is the name of the data structure? Is it bitmap, bit vector? What's the
It's
name
bit
of the data structure?
vector.
Okay. So, I mean, to me, I'm kind of thinking Boolean mask, bit vector. I mean, I don't know. It's a bit overblown, but it gets the point across. Bit vector mask.
Mhm.
I mean, it could also be Boolean list mask. I'm not sure. Pick mask, but I think both of those pieces of functionality are useful, and they're different.
Yes.
Pick will yet have its day in the sun. Now, in terms of keys or the all thing that we have in nearest, I don't see any objection to having something which returns an association that has, it'll say index arrow 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever it is. Bit vector mask arrow data structure, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, it's not. I mean, that's what nearest does, right? Nearest doesn't have a separate thing for every.
It
device.
does. It's transposed in nearest.
Yeah.
Well, it's got its arrow on the other side, doesn't it? Now, wait a second. What is that showing?
It's nearest to 5, right? The element that it's nearest to is 5. The index that it's nearest to is 1, and the distance is whatever.
I see. So for every element there.
Right.
Okay, but we probably get a little bit of license from the fact that we're putting this on the right-hand side rather than the left-hand side here.
Yep. Yep.
Sandra is commenting on the name deselect. I'm not sure. I slightly prefer discard. It suggests more of an action. Deselect suggests that you're just, tagging those things, but you haven't done anything yet.
I agree with that assessment.
Yep.
All right. Can we go on here? What are we looking at next? We're not ready to look at these icons yet, are we?
Oh dear. Well,
What?
I would put in the table of types with what's supported in the compiler, but it obviously somehow that form is not supported by your version of the prototype. So,
well, I'm not running the prototype, so maybe I should.
Oh, well, that would explain it. Okay. So you requested we put in a table that have the types we have along with, you know, what the corresponding types in the compiler and the interpreter and
Let's take a look at that.
and input output are.
Do the switch here. Trying to understand. I think do this. Let's try that. That work? Yes, that worked. Okay. You see this?
Yes.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, there we go. I do not like those icons. We talked about this before, right?
We talked about the fact that you don't like them. I don't remember having any substantial discussion since then.
No, we need another discussion of sort of designing them, but they're incredibly useful. It's very hard to tell apart like a number that's as a string or a number that's a number.
Okay, so let's figure out, let's make sure we have something there. But can we please get a meeting with graphic design going over those icons sooner rather than later?
Yep.
Okay. Right, what are we supposed to look at in this table?
Who's scheduling that?
Carla, can you
Yeah.
schedule that, please?
Yeah, I can,
Get
I
that,
can
get
help.
that done, please.
So,
Okay.
so what I tried to do in this table is when the type is the same in the compiler or something else, I just use same to indicate that it was, you know, it was exactly the way we're using it in tabular column. And when they're different, I put in how the different type is represented in the other system.
Okay, so I don't understand. So let's take a look here. For example, dates.
Yeah.
What the hell does that mean? No.
No,
By the
it's
way.
not. We don't have dates in the compiler.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, but so where in the interpreter, what does that mean?
We have date or date time.
Those are both types that, right, those are, right, both, you know, elements you can request from
Okay, what is
interpreter,
I type?
which will
What is I
produce,
type
you know,
there in
a date object of different precision.
Okay, so we're using the type specifier syntax here. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. So we could for dates probably eventually have a compiler type, which means this. The question, you know, I need to talk with Tom about is how do we do so we have these variant annotations like what is the calendar, what is this? I mean, can we have those as type literals? And I think the answer is yes in most
Okay.
cases.
Listen, when you've got choices here, it's just not true that there's no version of that in the interpreter. Right? There's a version. You know what? There's a version of this. What's that? I believe it's called choices in the interpreter.
Okay, well, we didn't find it. So
what do you mean you
that
didn't
means we didn't find
it?
Right.
Oh, that's no good. That's no good. Do I have to find it? I mean, come on.
Well,
we can
yeah,
find
we
it.
needed Carlo, but Carlo's away this week. So
okay, well then you shouldn't have done this week.
Okay.
Okay. It's vertical bars for a set of choices.
I think choices is a horrible name. Can you imagine?
Well, no. Listen. In interpreter, okay, we are using simply vertical bars. We're just using the alternatives mechanism.
Oh.
Several forms, literal list of choices is just a list. Okay. And then there's any subset. Am I making sense? and quantity variable.
Mhm.
So in that case, what we've got is interpreter of, ABC. Don't know what that will do. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, there it is. So that's the choices mechanism there. Okay, so the way we're doing it, that is, I believe, equivalent to oh no, what the heck is that? What's that? I am confused by that.
Try doing a D that's not
I'm sorry?
try doing D, D in the second set of brackets. No, in the second set of brackets.
I am
So it's
confused.
applying that function, right? It's using this as some sort of
But I'm confused because the documentation says that it tries several forms.
I wonder if that's like
it's trying. It's
Yeah.
trying forms. It's trying overall forms like that. Yes.
right. So if you did
Okay.
like date or time, right? String date or string time.
Yes. So this here is the way that we're doing. So what's an ordered list of choices?
It's an ordinal variable, like small, medium, large, or bond rating, or pain scale.
Okay.
Can you imagine a pain scale be called a choice?
Well, what do you think it should be called?
I think it should be called, I mean,
Categories doesn't make a lot of sense either for that.
well, it could be called nominal and ordinal. Nominal is unordered, and ordinal is
Nominal?
ordered.
It's kind of like everything is nominal just before the spacecraft blows up.
So linear model fit uses an option called nominal variables.
Yes, which is not great. You understand what I'm saying? Nominal is
I know,
also the name.
I know. But
Okay.
choices is particularly bad.
Okay, fine. Well, let's come up with an alternative. I mean, cases, if we hadn't already used it, might have been okay.
I mean, do you understand the difference between ordinal and nominal? So nominal is just used as a tag for something. It's like a name for something.
I understand. Whereas the other has an order relation.
Yes.
And that's useful for graphics. It's useful for all kinds of purposes.
Yes. I mean, often you bracket like age groups, okay? They're definitely ordered, right? This age group is older than that other age group, or pain, or quality, or things.
What can we call these? Let's see.
So another name used in statistics are factors. That's particularly bad for us.
It's particularly bad. It's particularly awful and bad and stupid.
Right. But you've heard it and you've used it. So is age a factor in COVID?
No. That's not what. That's just because statisticians are thinking that way.
Yeah.
It's not what we want to do.
No. I'm not saying we should. I'm just saying that you have heard it and used it yourself, and think it sounds right.
Well, I think it sounds right for
in that context.
Okay.
And in this context, where you're picking things in a form, choice sounds right, or in a GUI.
There's things like class.
Yeah, for the nominal one, class sounds right.
The order, it could be levels, because you have pain levels.
Yeah, but that's for the ordinal one.
Right.
Ordered class. I'm not keen on classes either. Let me see. Well, I don't have a good answer for this.
So we have also in visualization, we've introduced categorical scale, which is a documented symbol.
Right.
But yeah.
What are the possible names here? I mean, what is the full name? It is discrete values, basically.
Yeah.
Distinct values, whatever it is.
Right. There is, it's also assumed to be finite.
I see.
And sometimes when we say discrete, we think of integers, which have additional properties.
Right. It's a set, basically.
Yeah.
Versus an ordered set.
Yes.
I think further down there is a section of a previous discussion about this. Possible names, no, possible names about categorical types.
Values list. Let's see how it goes with these other ones here. I mean,
Also,
it isn't a values list. It's one of them. Go ahead.
You know, there's a sort of a difference of view with types. So all these detailed number types is very important for a compiler, but it's not super important for data modeling or symbolic transformations. So, but having number would be really useful.
Don't we have that?
Yeah,
Why don't we
if you
have
go
that?
out to the right, there's kind of numbers. Read, write, feature types.
Yeah, so I mean, things like real, we should have here as well. Not just machine real. Am I making sense?
Well, I mean, what do you mean by read, write, and number, right? Because certainly binary read has, right, integer 8, unsigned integer 8, real 32, et cetera, et cetera.
Right, I think that's the higher level read-write functions. But I agree that one of the things we need here is integer, real, number. Am I making sense? As types. Do you agree?
Yeah.
So a number type is something which is mixed integer, real, possibly big nums. And has no explicit fast code for it without processing.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Each one of these things, when you say real 16, that is a singular word, a category of thing of which you have one.
But that's not true of binary.
Yeah, that's the type of each element of a column.
Yeah.
So in the compiler, you would refer to it as numeric type specifier of numeric array, real 16, comma 1.
Okay. But so here, this will be what does this refer to when you have the choices thing? What does that refer to as in the compiler? For the whole column.
Each element comes from that set.
It would be, I mean, the way you would do in the compilers, you'd have something like a hash set or a hash table with the encoding, and then you'd also have a vector, which is the encoded values. So it's sort of it's a bit of a compound type.
No, when you actually see it in a tabular, what is its type for that column?
Right now, it's categorical scale, I think. And it has a list
It's
of
called
values.
categorical. It's called categorical, and then it's annotated by what the actual categories are.
Well, maybe that's what we should do here as well. Categorical and ordered categorical.
Yeah, that's what's in now.
Okay, so what do we do here? Is it a list then?
Yeah, it's a list. What's
That
actually a
example-
tabular? It's actually a tabular column of the categories.
Okay, but you could do it as a list here.
Yes, you can do it as a list, precisely.
There are examples of each type of type below.
Do we want ordinal instead of ordered categorical?
No, I think if we go ordinal, we kind of should pick nominal for the other one. But if we go categorical, ordered categorical is okay. That's the superset. Or the first
I mean,
one
that's
could be
the name of the type. I think
Yeah.
it's sort of okay for the name of the type.
Mhm.
That's what we'd come up with here.
Yeah.
But actually, we'd come up with categorical ordered before.
Yeah.
And that goes along with categorical distribution as well.
yes. And probably a lot future functionality we're about to build.
All right. I mean, then these things will be
So
the
is it,
categorical
is it
family.
categorical ordered or ordered categorical?
Well,
It's categorical
unsigned
ordered
integer.
is the current name.
Okay.
What do we think? I mean, it's unsigned integer, not integer unsigned.
Yeah, I think ordered categorical sounds better. It sounds readable.
Then I think we should go with that. We should reorder that to be that.
I'll reorder that. Ordered.
Okay. What should we look at next? We have a few more minutes. And we could return to the discussion of variable names. Or is there more stuff you want to talk about here?
No, I think discussion of variable names would be great.
Why are there two rows there? What's the difference between those two rows
The
of
quantity
icons?
type.
Quantity type. I mean, it just in the morning meeting was a suggestion we should have a beaker or a flask for quantity.
I see.
I mean, the one down at the bottom is crazy as well. I would have thought that the quantity would be more like a
Ruler?
what's that? I think that a measuring device, a measuring thing like a ruler or a calipers or something.
Right, that's what I suggested, a ruler.
What about calipers?
Yeah, doesn't sound bad to me.
Suggesting a measurement.
Could be scales. I think that's probably easier to make small.
Yes, it could be scale too. Could be a scale. Except a scale suggests that you're weighing one against the other, which suggests more like categories.
I still remember using, actual balance scales to weigh things in science lab. So, that I don't have that association.
No, but weighing in the balance, so to speak. Okay, this for an integer is absolutely frigging crazy. It's absolutely crazy because we've got. Do you understand what I'm saying? We have that means something to us, and it's not integer. Am I making sense?
Yep.
So
Should it just be 1 and 1 dot?
maybe, or n and x. some kind of
Or
stylized.
Z for the Z bold struck V C for the set of
Too
integers.
ZR, and then we could add C, right?
Yep.
Yeah, too mathematical.
Yeah. No, okay.
Well, I wonder whether we can iconographically, if we could get 1, 2, 3 in there, then that would be just fine.
I think that
But I'm
we
not
had
sure.
that in an earlier revision, and then 1, 2, 3 dot, and that was very hard to.
I also don't understand why byte array is a grid, given that
Yeah.
byte arrays are one-dimensional.
Yeah, it's just wrong.
Mhm.
It's just wrong. I think a byte array will just have to be a horizontal thing of a few dots there.
Yeah.
Listen, we need design people here if we're going to do this, and we don't have them here today.
And Jeremy is out, so if we need Jeremy, then
Yeah, okay.
we'll have
fine.
to wait for a couple
Let's
weeks.
please, Carla is going to deal with that, and we will come back to these.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else that we need to go over today?
I don't think so.
Okay. And see you guys another time. Talk to you then.
Bye.
Bye.